What's going on, guys? I'm back. My name is Chrissy Whispers, and it's been a while since I've done a video, but I've been super busy at work, been doing a ton of overtime, and truthfully, work is always going to come before Pokemon and YouTube. And that's pretty much what the topic of this video is going to be. It's going to be about getting a job and maybe not having Pokemon so in your focus. Um, Two things kind of have come together. A buddy of mine last week asked me if he should quit his job and start selling Pokemon cards, which I think is crazy. And I've been doing a ton of overtime, so I've been making a lot more money for the past like 2 months. I'm in heavy construction. You can't see my hands. I do foundation work. Currently, I'm drilling. I think I might have taken a video of the job last week, so I'll pan that on the screen now while I talk. Um, what the conversation I had with my buddy was, I was telling him about some of the sealed investing stuff that I have. Booster boxes, the sleeved packs, ETBs, stuff like that. And I told him how much it's appreciated and that how I sell cards on the side and how lucrative, quite frankly, it could be. His question to me was, "Do you think I could quit my job, start selling cards?" No, 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 no. There's a couple things that kind of have to be lined up for you to find yourself in a position to quit your job and start selling Pokemon cards full time. Now, if you have a minimum wage job, I'm in New York, we'll call it 15 bucks. If you work a minimum wage job at 40 hours a week, let me pull it together. Hold on. Let me not give any wrong numbers. $15 times 40 hours is $600 a week before tax. Let's just take a clean 33% off. You're going to take home like $400 a week, probably less, to be honest with you. But you're going to make $400 a week, and you're going to spend about 40 hours a week of your time, not counting commuting and this and that. Now, just to put that into quick perspective of selling Pokemon cards, to make $400 profit selling Pokemon cards, I would say that the average sale, you're going to make maybe 10 to 15% after, again, shipping and fees. You're going to make like 10 to 15% on your cards that you're selling, unless you're overlisting, which I do, and I just sell slower, and I try to make a couple more bucks because it's super part time for me. It's a side hustle, a side hobby, whatever you want to call it. But if you're thinking about doing this full time, you need to think about it in perspective of how much time you're putting in and how much money you have, frankly, and how much money you're actually making. If you sell $400 worth of cards, you didn't make $400. You probably made like $40, $50. So now, if you want to put this into the broader scale, to make the same $400 that you made working a 40-hour work week at a minimum wage job, you'd have to sell like $4,000 worth of cards. Do you have $4,000 worth of cards? And if you don't, you have to go spend $4,000. Get those cards just to sell them and try to make that $400 a week. To sustain that over the course of a year, let's just say you're doing this $400 times 52 weeks, it's $20,000 a year. You have to sell $200,000 worth of product over the course of a year to make $20,000. Now, I've got some pretty bad news. Got some pretty bad news. One, you're probably working a lot more than 40 hours a week to make $200,000 worth of sales of Pokemon cards. The second thing is, you need a lot more than $200,000 worth of cards to sell $200,000 worth of cards. Because you're not going to sell everything that you buy. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you buy that you can't sell or doesn't move or you thought was going to be a hit and it's just not going anywhere. So you lower the price and now you're losing money on it or you're breaking even or whatever it is. Plus, you got to go buy shipping materials. Plus, you got to spend time dealing with people. I mean, you might have to do that at a minimum wage job as well, but people kind of suck over the internet because, everybody's a keyboard warrior. So, if you put all this stuff together and you think about it, if you're selling through 10% of your eBay listings, just say, that means you need to have $2 million worth of product selling at 10% a month, making 10% a month, a sale to make that money. It's a lot of cards. That is a lot of cards. That's crazy. It's crazy to think about. You need to have so much money invested in inventory to sell $200,000 worth of stuff just to make $20,000. Now, if you're putting in 40 hours a week, you have if you're willing to work hard, I was going to say if you have a degree or a career, you don't need a degree or a career. If you don't have a degree and you want to make money, come to New York. You work as a New York City dock builder. You work by me, New York City carpenter. You worked with my family, whatever it is. You make pretty good money. Now, I don't want to be tacky, but I'm going to be tacky for the sake of the conversation because my pay is nothing secret. You can go right to the New York City District Council of Carpenters website. You can see what we all make. It's not private information. It's all public. So I'm just going to tell you what I make. I make $60 an hour. $60 an hour for 40 hours a week. I take home about $1,600 with no overtime. If we work overtime, we get time and a half. If we work Sundays, we get double time. Now, you realize how many cards I would have to sell for me to quit my job? That's not even accounting health insurance, benefits, vacation pay. You have to really think about all of this stuff. And really, what the point of my video is before you think about really diving deep and putting everything into Pokemon cards, I want you to legitimately consider getting a job, getting a better job, getting a real job, whatever it is. I agree with you. Minimum wage, $20,000 a year taking home is not a lot of money. So now to do all of that work and have all of that money into Pokemon just to make $20,000, it's crazy. If you've been doing this for a long time, you have a website set up. If you've started off the way I start off, like the way I'm doing it, and you slowly grow to the point that you're making and growing inventory, I would really just say growing your inventory and just building and building and building. If you need money to get by, you really need to think about whether or not you want to sell Pokemon cards full time. To me, unless you're balls deep, this is a side hustle or a hobby or whatever you want to call it. But there's a lot of people that want to start Pokemon shops now because cards are super expensive and sets are super expensive. This too shall pass. This will go away. Things aren't going to be $200, $300 when they come out. Stay that way. This is going to go away. To be honest, I really haven't watched any videos. This might have already gone away. Haven't looked at the price of Destined Rivals or any of that stuff recently. I got to be completely honest with you. I'm too busy working. And it's going to go away. So I just making this video because I think it's worth really just getting a better job or maybe putting in more time at work and just working more hours because like I said, to sell $200,000 worth of product to make $20,000-$30,000 worth of profit, it's a lot more than 40 hours a week, guys. It's a lot more than 40 hours a week. And it's a lot more work. I work hard. I'm not going to sit here and say that selling cards is physically harder than what I do because it's not. But one, I make a lot more working than I do selling Pokemon cards, regardless of the profit margin. Even like my Evolving Skies. Even if I held like mad Evolving Skies and sold all of it now, that would be a one-time thing. Because I can't get more Evolving Skies for $140 a box or $200 a box and sell it for whatever it is now. I don't even know. I don't want to sound stupid. I don't check it. I'm not going to say a price, but that's like a one-time thing. My job is as long as I'm willing to go to work and as long as I keep doing my job, I'll have my job. And it's only 40 hours a week, guaranteed. Want me to work a little bit more than that? You got to pay me a little bit more than that. And I'm not saying that as like a strong man, like you got to pay me more. That's just union. Union. Those are just the rules. But I just wanted to put that into perspective. Can you get by for 2, 3 years without making money, without putting money in your pocket, without taking, I don't know, maybe your wife to dinner, girlfriend to dinner? Are you living completely rent free? You have a car payment? You have an electrical bill? You have a water bill? You have these things? If you have these things and you're not already like $1 million in inventory, starting a business is going to be difficult. Going full time to me, I think, is kind of crazy, especially if you need to open something up. You have to open something up and you live in New York, forget it. I'm not even going to talk about that. But really, this video is about getting a job and just thinking about what you're doing in this space. Maybe you're spending too much time in Pokemon, and maybe that's why you're not making money. Have you considered that? Considered a real job? And listen, if you're making money, there are outliers out there. There are people that dive right into this and they just start making money. Those are major sacrifices. They make sacrifices. They make major sacrifices. These people, people that are successful in the TCG space, they've probably made some great sacrifices. And I'm not trying to take away from them. I'm just trying to let you understand you're willing to make sacrifices, big sacrifices. Are you willing to dump $50,000 into Pokemon to try to make $5,000 profit next month? What if they don't sell? Then what? Sell it all for 70%? Somebody else, then let them try to sell it? Now you're just throwing money in the garbage. I don't, you know, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I've stepped away from the space for like 2 months, and my buddy asked me if he should start selling Pokemon cards full time. And this video is honestly just what came to mind. I figured, what would be a really good video to get back into with? Telling people to go get a fucking job. Because that's what a lot of people need. Just a job, and you'll be better off in life. Think about it. Let me know what you guys think. I didn't mean to sound tacky with, talking about all the money, but it's half of the people in this community at least are here for the money. So my question to those people is, why not just get a job and leave the community alone? Crazy thought. Me included. Me included. So, just a little food for thought. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next one. I should be getting back to doing videos soon. I think the overtime might be slowing up. I hope not. I'll be very honest with you. I'd much rather stay at work than come home and not have to make a YouTube video. I do like making YouTube videos, but I'm not going to come home from a 12-hour workday, make a YouTube video for no money. It's just YouTube. It's just a thing I do for fun, just like the cards. Go for fun. If you're having fun with it and you're doing it on the side, go for it. But if you're kind of new and you're thinking about going full time, I hope you live with, your parents. I hope you don't have to pay rent. I hope you don't have a car. I hope you don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it is. Or both. You're into that. You do what you got to do. But I just wanted to shed a little bit of perspective on how much better it could be to really just have a job. Go to work every day. It might not be what you love, but you know what? 90% of the process of selling cards, I don't love anyway. I don't like packing. I don't like shipping. I don't like talking to people. I like the cards. I like seeing them pass through my hands. I like making a couple dollars on them. Not gonna lie. It's kind of cool to make money on Pokemon cards. But if you don't like cards, you're not gonna like shipping, probably. Not gonna like listing, probably. Not gonna like sorting, probably. You're not gonna like price checking, probably. And this is all like, think about, just to, now that I'm going on a tangent here, think about all the time. If if you've already been selling cards, think about all the time you've spent pricing out collections just to see the whole thing's overlisted. How much time have you spent pricing out a collection to realize it's overlisted? And then when you give the guy the price that you're willing to pay, they're like, "Are you crazy? I want 110% for this collection. I know what I got. I'm not selling." You know, a lot of time gets wasted in this hobby. Negotiating, talking, packing, listing, sorting. It all sucks. So you better love the cards, or you can get a job. You know, I'm just gonna say it. Or you could just get a job. You know, you're not gonna be able to make tons of money being the first guy in line at Target for very long. Even still, how much money could you really be making? They don't put that many out. Is that it? Is that your nut for the week? What you make at Target? Is that it? That's not a business model. That's not a business model at all. So, if you're thinking about going full time into cards, I think you should really think about what you have ahead of you, right? And you have to be willing to make sacrifices. And truthfully, I'm gonna say most people won't make money anyway. At least when you have a job, a paycheck that you cash, that's money made. And then you could start small. You take $50, buy a couple cards, and list it on eBay. You can grow your inventory that way. Grow your website. I don't suggest a website unless you have tons of stuff, but website, your Instagram page, your eBay page, whatever it is. I believe this is a starting small situation. Really do. And I think you got to have balls, courage, and money to back it up if you want to go dive headfirst with, you know, no experience, or even with little experience, or even with a lot of experience. Truthfully, you need balls, you need courage, and you need money. And if you don't have all three, and you need to be willing to sacrifice. If you don't have all four, I think you keep going to work. I think you keep earning a paycheck. And I think you keep this as a side hobby, collection, whatever you want to call it. But that's the video. Mr. Negative over here. Just giving a little slap of reality because I think a lot of people need it. I think expensive cards and expensive sealed boxes and stupid people make this out to be more than it is. But this isn't going to last forever. People that have been here, I know I'm here like 3 years now, almost 3 or 4 years. I know that this isn't going to last forever. I don't get bent out of shape when I see, cards listed super high or super low or, just stay the course type deal. Have to know. And if you don't know, you can make mistakes. And if you're making mistakes, you're losing money. If you're losing money, you need to be making it somewhere else. Job. You can get a job. Go serve coffee at Starbucks. Go pass out taquitos and Slurpees at 7-Eleven. Go to your local bakery and just work the register. Chances are 90% of people in this hobby will probably make more money at a minimum wage job than they do selling Pokemon cards. I think that's something everybody should consider when they're considering what they're doing here and what their future is with Pokemon cards, or even any TCG for that matter. So, for like the third time, thanks for stopping by. It's a pleasure to be back. I should be getting back on track with videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out, guys. Think about it.